sect of the government there, and now they're going to have to determine their own sovereignty. Ultimately, we've given them an opportunity. We've defended our interests. Al-Qaeda is our enemy. The Taliban has also been very anti-American. I think we're cutting off their ability to attack us again by what we're doing. But they're now popping up in Yemen, and Yemen's the next battleground. We've got to help the Yemenese government to defend us against Al-Qaeda and make sure that Al-Qaeda doesn't get a foothold there like they did in Afghanistan. And Pakistan also is another area that we're going to have to continue with diplomacy and monitoring and try and encourage the government to make the right decisions and crack down on extreme Islamists. My biggest hope, you know, as an American, as a world citizen, I guess, if that's right, that's probably not a good term, but as a member of humanity, is that in Iran, the people in Iran overthrow the Ahmadinejad regime. They're fighting, they're dying in the streets right now. I hope that the administration is doing more than it looks like they're doing to sort of help fuel that. But if they can overthrow that regime and have a bit of a civil war there, that's better for the Middle East, generally speaking. There will be more peace and more hope in the long-term future. So that's my view of the world. So yes. So
many of the things that you've said, I love. I think it's great. Now,
Bridgewater for Senate.
Now comes your first day in the Senate. How do you? What have you done already to kind of get to know the other senators, essentially, so that you can actually have effective legislation?
Well, part of the problem today, I mean, I think our country is in real trouble, and part of the problem today is the system that is there, the relationships that exist. Senator Bennett is tied into things he can't really challenge and do because he owes this senator, that senator on both sides of the aisle some loyalty and doesn't want to shake up the system. The system is broken. The earmarking system is broken. The way that we allocate money, not taking on entitlements. I mean, we're heading towards bankruptcy if we don't really turn this ship around. And I mean, I built businesses over a 22-year career where I work with senior executives of publicly traded and private companies, and coming up with real solutions. So in terms of my own preparation and skill set, I've worked with people on a wide range of issues in a wide range of industries. I mean, I know Senator Hatch well. I would hope that Senator Bennett would be helpful in easing me into that position, but I haven't been out building coalitions. I've been working here trying to win the support of the voters. I worked in the Reagan administration. I understand how the federal government works. I understand how the budgeting process works there, and it's a broken system. I mean, they get to the end of the budget cycle and they have money left in their budget, and what do? They spend it as fast as they can. In fact, Reagan used to say they spend it like drunken sailors, and then he apologized to drunken sailors because he said at least they're spending their own money. I mean, government is broken, so you need zero-based budgeting reform. You need to really fight hard at entitlement reform. And I think we're going to have about 12 new senators right now swept into office to build a new coalition in moving this country in a new direction. Some of those will be Democrats, and most of them will be new Republicans. Hopefully that builds a coalition of like-minded people willing to come in and take on unpopular, tough issues that the country needs to address. Most people say you can't take on Medicare reform. I disagree fundamentally. If we don't address it, we are in real trouble. 2022, 2025, those programs begin to go bankrupt. And so I think from that perspective, I just have a good skill set of working with people. And I know, our congressman well here from Utah, and a few others, Dean Heller from Nevada, and some other folks, and so we can have a starting point of building relationships at that point.
And as a follow-up to that, how do you overcome the Republican Party leadership that wants to put sometimes the wrong message?
Well, that's kind of interesting. I'm running today against the senatorial committee. They've given Bob Bennett a lot of money to try and get him reelected. I'm running against Newt Gingrich. I'm running against Mitt Romney. I like Mitt Romney, but the forces are stacked to try and protect the incumbency and protect a system that I think is fundamentally broken. The seniority system is disadvantaging this country in ways that are frightening. If you look at, we're going to wheel Robert Byrd out of the Senate on life support because his vote's so important to West Virginia. I mean, that's disadvantaging the 49 other states because of that kind of power and that seniority system. So I don't expect to necessarily have them welcoming somebody that's trying to change have a paradigm shift of how government works. But ultimately, I think the message that they're going to get is a new generation of leaders are coming, and we're going to take on tough issues. And they're going to have to come to the table. I mean, we are out of power today as Republicans because they failed to lead when they had the White House, the Senate, the House, and didn't legislate, didn't manage with core conservative principles of limited government, fiscal responsibility. And we are, Democrats say, wow, if that's what Republicans do is spend like crazy, then we can spend a lot more. Well, now we're $14 trillion in debt, $50,000 for every man, woman, and child in this country. And it's getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So we have to have a course correction in a dramatic form and cut government, cut spending. And that's going to be my focus. If I'm your senator, that's what I'm going back there with a mandate to do, is address the irresponsible and out of control spending that's happening in Washington. Move as much as we can to the states and try and get us back on a fiscally sound basis. I mean, you look at the Constitution, the enumerated powers, what the founders' vision, what we have today is totally different than what the founders envisioned. And we've got to claw back, cut back, and change the whole dynamic. And I think the best way to do that is the states' rights movement that you see happening and pushing in that direction. Everybody's not going to agree with that, but enough people will, and enough people will be focused on the economic health of this country, I hope, that we get a complete change of course. It happened in 1980 when Reagan was elected. He was swept into power with a lot of new legislative leaders. They cut taxes. They had created the longest peacetime expansion in the economy that this country's ever known. They turned the psyche of the country around. So, yes.
Well, comment first. You mentioned about Medicare, Medicaid, and I don't know that they did these under these programs, but the Bustamante are multi-billionaires out of Mexico. And they had set up a system where they were sending their people into the United States to get health care. They got caught. On one of them was $150,000. He's the lieutenant governor under Ray Davis. It is sickening, to see this kind of stuff going on, and obviously structurally put in place to allow. So I'm hoping we can alter that system. And being from California and actually seeing this more craziness going on directly, it's really concerning. Next thing I heard, Senator Reid this last night on an interview with Greta Van Susteren out of his house, where he said even his friends in Utah are now happy that health care passed. Do you believe that to be a true statement?
He has a few friends in Utah.
Both of them,
His
huh?
mom and his dad.
Well, no, I don't believe that, but let me address the issue of healthcare, Medicare. And something even more frightening, the Center for Healthcare Transformation basically said that organized crime is taking tens of billions of dollars out of Medicare today. We have $150 to $180 billion of waste, fraud, and abuse in the Medicare system right now. To liberals, that's just the cost of doing business. If you do a government program, those inefficiencies, that corruption that may take place on the quote-unquote fringes, that's a broken system. I am a big proponent of, we've talked states' rights, but Texas, Montana, some other states are trying to wrestle away control of their Medicare programs to the states. So the states can run them, they can collect the money, they can be in charge of that, they can have an efficient and effective Medicare system or healthcare system, because the states have more to gain or lose by whether that's a good system or not. The federal government doesn't care. They just want a system that they can give everything to everybody. That's what the government, broadly speaking, a welfare state is all about. And they just have a program, give it. We just passed another $1 trillion on top of $14 trillion of debt with this new Obamacare. So the states that are trying to get that back, I'm going to be a big proponent of pushing in that direction, because then you can have 50 separate experiments going on to the most efficient healthcare system without the federal government's involvement in it. And that's really how we have to move and get out of this crisis. It is coming crisis. It is moving to bankruptcy. I mean, we cannot kid ourselves that much longer. We've kicked this can down the road for so long. And you look at the dwindling numbers of workers supporting a huge entitlement program, both for Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. It's just completely unsustainable. You've either got to dramatically raise taxes or dramatically cut benefits, or both. My solution is to move them out of the federal government's purview to the states on Medicare. And also for Social Security, you've got to look at privatizing for younger workers. I'm part of the generation that believes that it's more likely that I will see a UFO than a Social Security check.